Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 3 of G2 Esports versus Damwon. If you'd have been here, you would have been a part of the in-depth Twitch chat, which asked me, hey Vedius, would you rather have 2 right feet or 2 left feet? Also included are, how truly bright is a light bulb when it goes off in your head? Yeah, I don't know. In any case, you could be part of them if you just join us here on twitch.tv/VediusOfficial. In any case, let's jump into game number 3. What are the adaptations? So Damwon, now being the winning team, makes 0 changes. Oh, but the Renekton is banned. What does that mean? First pick Kai'Sa. Ha 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 ha. Because they realize this guy can only play 1 champion. Oh no. So now, look, you can see me like writing down all this like alright. So lots of things have just happened that you've just realized. And I'm about to blow your mind. So first, Canyon no longer playing Lee Sin. Why? Mainly to take this champion away from this player. Because Jankos is having too much impact on the Gragas. So no more of that. They're like, we're fine giving him Elise because without a strong early game champion, what's he going to do? So they take away the Jace. Pardon me. They take away the Jace, and they also, and with the Renekton band as well, they're like, well, you've got no more strong champions for the Elise to work with anymore. So they're thinking that they've now developed a good counter strategy to what G2 is doing. The problem is you've given G2 the scaling options of Kai'Sa and Ryze. So now G2 Esports recognize that if the games are always going to go long, then we'll just pick the 2 champions that will outscale you on a side lane, which they will. So G2 is now flipping it on its head. They're not trying to play super proactive in the early game anymore, but they still have a lot left in their draft. So I think that they should just lock in their support now, and I think they should go Nautilus. Oh, I'm cheating a little bit because I do know what they drafted. And then, of course, Damwon surprises all and go for the Gragas Yasuo bot lane. And I'm like, oh, no. You just picked... This is like picking Nocturne mid lane into me. You just don't do it. You just don't. Because I know this better than you do. It doesn't matter what I'm playing. It doesn't matter. I know this matchup better than you do, because I'm the one that made it. So that's what Nuclear and Beryl are trying to do right now. They're trying to play Nocturne mid into me, and that shit ain't gonna fly. So by doing this, you're saying we believe in the power of this matchup, and we believe that we can beat them in a 2 versus 2. And you just see Perks literally laughing right now. You can see Grabs, he's like, here, let's make a speech bubble, okay? He's like, here's a speech bubble, okay? What he's saying is, Perks, stop laughing. That's what he's saying. He's like, get serious. This is what he's doing. He's like, stop it. We gotta focus. Like, I'm gonna slap you. Look at this. I will slap you, Perks. Then Perks is just like, look, we'll cut to Perks in a second. When we cut to Perks, you'll see. So of course Nuclear now thinking about what he wants to pick, but it doesn't matter because his destiny has already been decided, right? So let's cut to Perks. Cut to Perks, cut to Perks. Where's the Perks cut? Here we go. There it is. Look at his face. This, the eyes of a man who is elated right now. Look at this massive smile that he has on his face. This is pure joy from Perks' face right now. All he feels is happiness. Look, there it was. There was the grimace. There it was. Look, there it is. Wait. There it is. Did you see? There's that smug face that so many don't. There it is. There it is. Look at him. He knows. He knows. He knows. And you'd think like Canyon gonna play a different jungler. Of course not, back on his Lee Sin. Because it turns out Canyon can also only play 2 champions, which are Talia and Lee Sin. Who'd have thought that Damwon would have such a champion pool problem? What I thought was quite interesting was G2. Look, they even banned Ezreal Yumi because they're like, there's no way that this duo would pick Yasuo Gragas into us. There's just no way they would do that. Surely not. And the moment he realizes it, that's what he's laughing at. I quite like the Ornn ban. They're like, maybe they'll play it. This is a good pick into the Lee Sin. So they have winning jungle matchup. They have winning bot lane matchup. They have safe mid. And now they just have to pick the top laner. Which oh yeah, it ends up being Yorick. The Yorick counter into this. And now Damwon, I can't remember what they do. Because they've already banned the Syndra. So they can't use that as a counter pick. They don't go for the LeBlanc either. Oh, they go for Corki. I actually really like the Corki in this draft. Because Azael made a good point, which was that it provides magic damage, which the rest of the comp doesn't have. It also just really helps with Siege because it's the only, like, it's good range. And now you've got Poke with these two. The problem for the Lee Sin is you can't play through these lanes. Like, okay, to say that you can't play through top lane is a little unfair because, of course, you can play through a Jace. He received, like, a bunch of nerfs not too long ago, which made it harder to play through the Jace because he's not as lane dominant as he used to be. I was talking with Wonder about this yesterday and how he thinks that Jace is not as like strong or as lane dominant, but he actually scales a little bit better, or as like with the tier build, you know. But even into this matchup, I think it's really difficult to kill the Yorick. And also just Canyon as a player doesn't usually play through these lanes anyway. He always plays through bot lane, and he's going to try and do the same thing in this game. But the problem is, these two are going to set up, they have early priority. This champion also has early priority, and this one doesn't, but that's fine, because all G2 is going to do is play through this side of the map. Because if this gets behind, they can do absolutely nothing. It's like the comp in its entirety is not terrible, but the issue with it is it's very much reliant on scaling, and it does not give you that much agency in the early game, again. And you're starting to see this trend where Damwon are just never drafting early game. Ever. Like, sometimes you get the illusion of it, but, like, they just don't. Because they don't know how to snowball leads. Which surprises me, because when they played in their best of fives in the frickin' things against Kingzone, they actually had some really good snowball games. I don't know why they didn't put, like, a higher priority on Beryl's Alistair. I don't know. In any case, I don't think... It's not like I think the draft is terrible from Damwon. I just think that it's just... You don't do anything. You don't do anything. And that annoys me. I hate drafts that don't do anything. Or at least in the early game, is what I mean. Like, it scales fine. That's not the problem. It scales fine, but... Oh, I forgot to move my camera. Oh well, it's fine. Pardon me. So for all you junglers out there, Jankos did this every game. He would drop his trinket and then he would trade it for a sweeper. Remember this. Because you should do it too. Halo Blades. I never really talk about keystones because I never really think they're that important or interesting, to be honest. But if you guys do want to know more about them, I can talk about them. So in terms of jungle pathing, Jankos will do these three. And then... Canyon will do 1, 2, 3, 4. Look for a gank top. Actually, that's a lie. He'll come through here and then he'll look for scuttle because that's what he always does. But this guy's going to do a full bot side clear into path and gank bot. And notice Ryze looking to get priority in the mid lane. That's important. Yorick is just conceding top. That's absolutely fine. Remember what we said though, like playing this matchup into like trying to play Nocturne mid into a Nocturne mid main. But like the reason why, okay, so the reason why this is really important. This is super important. Because what does this tell Jankos? Well, the first thing it tells him is that he knows that Canyon has done a full bot side clear. Because the only reason why these would be dead is if Canyon has cleared them. I mean, he's level 2, right? So this also tells Jankos that Canyon is heading up towards topside. This makes his life way easier because now he knows that if he makes a play happen here, the only people that can interfere are the people with teleports, right? So What does that also mean? Well, Caps needs to get prio mid because he wants to put Showmaker in a situation where if he's teleporting to bot lane, he's either losing farm or he's going to be late because he's either going to finish the farm and then TP late into the fight, or he's just going to TP immediately and then lose the farm mid lane, so Showmaker ends up in a lose-lose situation. So this is really important. So what we're going to see Caps do is expend as much mana as possible to try and push this in, as you'll see. And then we get the gank bot lane because these guys are only level 1. These are level 2. Now the problem is Mickey flashes in, right? Mickey flashes in to get aggro. But the problem is he then has no way out because obviously he's flashed in. But he's obviously taking tower aggro. My question is, why doesn't Mickey run top lane? I'm not really sure what Mickey's plan was here, but... So, unfortunately for Caps... I say unfortunately for Caps. They force Showmaker's TP, but he doesn't lose anything for it. But he does TP in late. Well, I suppose he TP's late. Yeah, he does TP in late. I'll show you why. See here? Boom. They don't respect the stack wave. They see him. And how quickly does the TP come in? Okay, it's actually pretty quick. I say it's late. It's actually that's unfair of me. That's unfair of me. It's fine. Nuclear obviously takes a burst of damage. They flash in, they kill him. Mickey was tanking the tower, so he has to die. And this is really unfortunate for Perks. He then also takes the tower, but this was well played by Showmaker. Flashing to avoid the damage from Jankos to then draw aggro from Perks. That was good. Because Jankos wanted to knock Showmaker up. Still, really good for them, because this whole wave gets cleared. Nuclear doesn't have teleport. So he loses all this farm. He starts with a pickaxe. He's already got his tier. And the game is over. Do, 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 do. Boo, 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 boo. And if I was Perks, I'd type in all chat. Lol. Imagine. Again, I'm going to say it again. Imagine picking Nocturne mid lane into a Nocturne mid one trick. It's just not smart. It's just not. On the bright side for Canyon, he got a lot of farm. Did he actually steal any camps away? Yeah, he did. He stole blue. I mean, this is the best thing he could be doing in this time. Try and deny as many camps away from Jankos as possible. But Jankos will now reset, and he should just immediately go straight back to his bot side, because they should be up relatively soon. I think they respawn at about like 420, 430, something like that. Oh, he actually goes top. Oh, I suppose that's fair. Yeah, I guess he just goes top to check. Alright, but now he can head back to bot. So he can head back to bot, because his Krogs are going to be up soon. And then he can look for another dive bot lane. And then Rise will look to get push in mid, because he already has a completed tier. I don't agree with this cull buy. I mean, like, I know he's going for the scaling, but it's much harder for him to get prio because he just has components versus all this fucking mana on top of caps. So I think it's a bit greedy, personally. Oh. I wonder why Jankos went top. I guess just for an opportunity, if he could find it, to clear out some vision, I guess. I guess I like him sitting around mid lane isn't too surprising. No. Oh wow, he doesn't even go to his bot Krogs. He just wants to dive again. Well, this time Canyon is in a position to counter. Jankos is a bit behind in his clear now though. But he will be able to secure his second Raptor spawn. But Canyon's already on his like full reset clear now. So he should be quite far ahead in terms of XP. Yeah, I think Jankos was a bit inefficient there. But it's not the end of the world. He's back in bot lane. Canyon's around as well. So is Showmaker. I love this about Showmaker as well, helping to cover his jungler. But it doesn't matter. I'm surprised that Jankos actually managed to get away with this. But where else is he going to go, to be fair? Because, like, his top side was cleared out, so he's looking for a gank. And the bot lane has no summoner spells. So I say, like, I'm surprised you got away with this. What else is he going to do? There's nowhere else for him to be spending his time. And Lee Sin, like, if he's trying to be as optimal as possible, will actually go up for this. And the pings come down. They're worried about a roam. That's probably why he actually moves back to mid lane so that he can push the wave in before Caps can come back. But I also think he's here to just cover and help. And then the all-in comes through. And they kill him before Canyon can show up. Yep. But they had no summoner spells, so I don't know what they were really going to be able to do in that situation. And now Jankos can do his red into topside clear, into giving blue buff over to his mid laner. Oh, no, nuclear. Oh. The best thing about it is the game is like, oh, look, he's windwalled. That means that the hook shouldn't connect. And then the game realizes, wait a minute, he windwalled the wrong way? What? Guess you're getting hooked then. Surely he's windwalling the right way. Wait a minute, it's not. Oh, I guess I better bring the hook back. Oh. That's funny. Poor Nuclear. Poor Nuclear. Happens to the best of us, Nuclear. Happens to the best of us. Imagine if you could see, like, this in your game randomly shows up. Wait a minute. Why do I have less gold than this guy? Oh. Devastation. Now, while Damwon do outscale, they're going to be super useless for a really long time. So now what... I mean, I was saying this in the game as well. I think Damwon should swap. This is a really good roam here from Caps. Takes blue, roams up to top. That's why Wonder was hanging around here. Trade 1 for 1. Push out the wave. That was good. I mean, like, I also like the play from Canyon. Like, it's the only play that he can make at this point. But in my opinion, what should happen now is... these two should reset, and they should roam to top. See, I think like Wonder's playing pretty defensively, so I can't really blame him for dying here. It was a good sneak in from the thing. But yeah, this duo should go top lane. 100%. And they should make a play for this, and then trade it for this. Because this tower's going down anyway, so you may as well trade tower for tower and Herald for Drake. You just should. Because now what happens is G2 get to push in. They get to take towers, or plates rather. Or they actually won't. They'll reset. This is smarter. And then they go straight to this. And they get to it first. And you can already see the pings coming down. And this guy has priority. This guy has TP. So he'll base, spend his gold, TP back. Oh, he's actually going to go bot lane. So, okay, this is the bit that I really didn't like from G2. I thought this was super greedy. This play, going for this, bit a mistake in my opinion. They should have immediately started this. So I am surprised that the Yorick goes straight to bot lane. I would have thought that the Yorick would actually come top with the team and support them. But I guess because he has TP, he also recognizes that he can keep pushing bot, which is not the end of the world. But in my opinion, G2 should have just immediately started the Herald. Because, like, look, Showmaker's resetting. And no one has this wave pushed out. Like, this is just greedy. I'm surprised they don't... Pardon me. I'm surprised they don't start the Herald at all. I wonder why they don't start the Herald. Do they just not think that they're strong enough? I mean, maybe. I mean, when you look at itemization, the Corki's just finished Trinity Force, which is a really strong spike. This guy has a completed item over the Yorick. Even though there's a massive difference between these two, maybe they just think that the Kaiser isn't very strong right now. It's like maybe they just don't want to fight, and they just want to be in a position to be able to contest Herald. I mean, the big thing right now is, if I'm G2, I'm like, well, Nogari is still here. We know Nuclear is here. So please just hard push and play for this tower. Yep. So this was the play that I really didn't agree with from G2. I thought this was really poor. So, let me explain why. So in this situation, let's say G2... Okay, so we have to go through a number of steps. But remember, G2 reset first, and we're in the river first. So if they wanted a fight around Herald, they could have got one, and they could have got it by starting the Herald themselves. Because they were here way in advance. They had the vision in order to be able to clear out any potential wards here from Damwon, and they could have just done it. Right? We drew attention to that. We did that right here. So G2, they could do that right now. It's unfortunate that Mickey misses this, but they still have plenty of control wards, one in the pit, one outside the pit. So they could start this. And if they want to fight, they'll get a fight. If that's what they're playing for. Okay? But because they don't go for this, this suggests that then they don't want to fight. Right? So if we go under the assumption that they don't want to fight, then the best thing for them to do right now is to have them hang around like this, but have Jankos path towards mid and have him group up with the Rise and threaten this tower. Because while they're doing this, right, what the Rise can do is secure one, maybe even two plates, while the Yorick is securing plates on bot. Now, what will end up happening is because there's no wave for this lot in order to be able to push in mid, right? They have to go top if they want to try and use it immediately. Now, because if they want to try and do that, they'll be behind on the play. This guy will have taken this tower, reset, and we back out on the map first. Which means that G2 will be in a position to then start being more proactive on the map, even though Damwon secure the Rift Herald. Alright, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, G2 can secure the first tower plus a plate here. So objectively, even if Damwon use the Rift Herald top, and the best case scenario for G2 is that they just trade this for this, they still come out ahead on gold because of the first tower bonus that they get. Right? So that's what they should do. Why did I do that? But instead, Caps comes, they don't commit to the bot, and then they fight. And so, what confuses me is why, if they wanted to contest for the Herald, why did they wait so long? The Herald's already dead. It's gone. And they fight afterwards. So they TP to here after the Herald is dead. Which doesn't make any sense. Because now they're not even fighting over anything. They're just fighting for the sake of fighting. And we already talked earlier that based on the strategy that they implemented by focusing more on finding a pick, they suggested that they didn't want to fight. Now, on top of that, the execution wasn't great. Because, like, Caps was forced to flash almost immediately because he gets jumped on top of him because he's too close to the wall. And then Perks is going to ulti in to all 4 of them, and he burns his flash extremely early when he didn't need to. I think he should have gone into barrel instead and then worked his way that way. He gets exhausted and killed. And it ends up being a 3 for 3 where they walk away with the Herald. So, like, does that make sense why I was so critical of them on the cast? I mean, like, no, they can't see the Herald. That's right. But the fact that they would even try and contest it that late into, like, just, there were so many other better things they could have gone for. Like, they even got a plate in all that time, just from the minions killing it. They probably could have gotten 2. They could have gotten bot tower plus 2 plates. This was the better, safer play, in my opinion. That's why I don't agree with it. I wonder if G2 got a little too hyphy or if they... I don't know. I don't know. This one I really struggle with. I have to ask Grabs. Because I don't... Because, like, this was the other thing, right? So, because they invest their TP here, what Noguri now gets to do is he now gets to teleport to bot lane. Yeah. Because he has TP advantage, which means he's now getting all these plates that he shouldn't have gotten in the first place. So now Damwon is getting all their gold back. And now they have Herald, which is on the support, which he can use top. So now they end up getting first tower. But you see how all of this cascaded into what we're now seeing? And into a situation which Damwon honestly should never have been in? Well, this should have been a trade. But instead, it's now only a loss for G2. They had a 3k gold lead, and now they're even. These kind of plays can be like... This whole play could have been, like, disastrous for G2. Yeah, I know they got hyped up from the crowd and made mistakes, but that was obvious in Game 4. But in this one, I don't know. Of course, they don't slow down. They keep looking for picks, and Noguri... I'm curious as to how they even make this work. I guess Noguri is just slightly overextended. There's nothing really clever about this gank. It's just a gank. Honestly, Jankos didn't even think that they would get a kill. I do like this TP initially from Caps, because at first you think that it doesn't make sense, but... He then gets to stay bot and siege onto this tower while Yorick can reset and catch top. While the duo is mid lane. And Beryl is now... Beryl's like lost. He doesn't want to hang around his bot laner anymore. So now he's like, oh, I don't need to cover mid. And now, oh, okay, I guess I'm coming bot. But now they leave mid exposed for the G2 duo to be able to push in. And ultimately, like, we just go back to what we were talking a lot about in Game 1, which is that G2's resets are way better than Damwon's. They understand how to work together as a team. Drake is up, even though 2 of them are sitting on 1,000 gold. They don't back off because they know this is the best position for them to contest. And then they realize, you know what? Maybe it's not the best time, but maybe it is, but maybe it isn't, but maybe it is, but no, it's not. So they reset instead. Now Ryze and Rek'Sai should both base. Ryze and Rek'Sai should both base. Ryze and Rek'Sai? Base? No? Still not going to base. Okay. I guess because the rest of their team reset. Notice that Caps and the Rek'Sai still haven't based yet. Okay, so after taking this tower, we should see a full reset from everyone. Any minute now. Any minute now. Okay. I'm too tunneled on this reset thing. Let's actually talk about what's happening in the game. So, the problem for G2 in this situation is that the Yorick is base. So even though they have control over River and this bot wave, Damwon are choosing to sacrifice it in order to group and threaten. And because of their poke and the mid prio that they have, it's easier for them to move into the river and secure this Drake. And G2 is like, it's only a cloud, fuck it, we don't care. So they disengage, right? So then what happens is a bunch of Damwon members reset. So reset, reset, he's back in base. He's now pushing bot. Okay, G2 recognize that... Well, I think what they recognize is they want to play for top tower because Noguri is bot lane and he doesn't have TP. and the rest of Damwon are also resetting. So this is the best case scenario for them to get a trade, or at least a free tower. And Yankus is like, maybe we can catch them top tower when they come. But what's interesting is how... Did Showmaker cancel his base? Yeah, he did. That's interesting. But also notice... This is the other thing. Notice how much time these two are spending together. And look at what it's doing. Right? Something you'll see G2 do a lot of is... Whenever they're grouped, there's a reason for it. They're using their numbers in order to pressure something. But because of how far behind Nuclear was put, he does not feel comfortable, especially without flash and teleport, sitting in a side lane and soaking farm. Especially considering how easy he is to dive. Because he's only level 9 and the jungle is a fucking level over him. Rek'Sai alone can probably just 1v1 this guy. So he can't really sit in a side lane. So he's now forced to sit mid, and Showmaker doesn't have summoners either. So he can't... I actually think Showmaker could have gone to a side lane if he wanted to. I think he would have been fine. I don't think he's super difficult to gank. So I'm actually very confused as to why he's not with his... But whatever. On the reset, Damwon choose to just run down mid. And then they'll use their priority mid to rotate down to bot. So that they can end up trading this top tower for the bot one. Basically, it's just a trade of pressure. They can't siege onto this because Mickey and Perks are here and Caps has come up, but you can see how they move through the jungle into the bot side and they allow Noguri to be able to siege onto the tower. Now this is where Damwon get greedy because they stay. Pardon me. So, opinion on river control as a term? Well, okay, if you have control over the river, and by that I mean wards, what else am I supposed to call it? I mean, you can call it Baron or Dragon Control, but I also just think the topside river control makes sense. And sometimes when you have full control over the entire river, like what else are you supposed to call it? They can meme it all they want. It's a natural term. In any case. What software am I using? It's a tool called Epic Pen. It's pretty cool. Canyon and Noguri. So, like, throughout the series, we've talked a lot about resetting, right? So, you go back to base, and then your ability to get back out on the map first means that you get to make a play. So, remember that Damwon is at a deficit. So, the more that they can get back out onto the map first means that the more areas of the map that they can control, and the more time that they can look to buy. Because if they get vision down in their own half of the jungle, it becomes harder for G2 to look for picks and propel or excel their gold lead. So in this situation, because Damwon took the tower so much earlier, what they should have done is pushed in the wave and then reset. They should have gone back to base. Because it's going to take Londa so much longer to take this tower. So all they need to do is go back to base and then come back out onto the map first. And because you come back out onto the map first, you can guarantee mid priority. You can use that to move into topside river. You can use it to move into bot side river if you want. Whatever you want, you can use that time before G2 can. And you can like slow down their advances, which is really important because they just want to stall and scale. That's how they come back into this game. But instead what they do is they stay bot and they get greedy. And they're thinking, because Wonder still hasn't even got to that wave, we can just keep pushing bot tower. And initially it's true. But the problem is that mid lane has priority because they have two people here, which means that they can actually collapse onto the bot wave. And what they don't respect is the realm warp that Caps has that cuts off their escape and secures G2 a double kill. So this has just made things so much worse for them by handing more kills over to the Kai'Sa. And that was just pure greed. Super, super greedy from Damwon. Because now, Kai'Sa gets to go back to base, look at these items, they're absolutely disgusting. The Rise has 2 fully completed items. To be fair, Corki actually has more gold, but look at this gold gap, it's fucking ridiculous. Corki hasn't spent it, I guess. So Damwon tried to make a bit of a play top. Noguri's grouped up, I like this. Even though he has TP. He needs to go back bot now though. Otherwise he's screwed. Yeah, okay. Rest of Damwon are resetting, which is good. It's probably nothing for Nuclear to actually buy, so he hasn't bothered resetting right now. There's the Infinity Edge for Showmaker, which is good. I was really hoping that Showmaker wouldn't buy boots. Oh, so I was talking here about how this is the mid tower that G2 want, but they actually don't make this play because Drake is spawning in 28 seconds and it's mountain. So when you have Kai'Sa, you can two-man Baron pretty easily, especially with someone like a Yorick. So having double mountain is really valuable. So what they're actually going to do is push in top, push in bot, use the Yorick to come mid, gain mid priority, and then use that to control bot river in order to take Drake. And Damwon shouldn't be able to contest because they're too weak at this point. But this is one thing that you can do, which is cool, which is that you sacrifice the top catch, you bring your Corki down, and notice how they have 5 people here. These duo cannot approach the wave versus 5 people, which means that they're forced to concede. So this way, Damwon guarantee bot side river control, right? Obviously, the problem with this is you have no wave bot and you have no wave top. So, while Damwon may be able to secure a Drake, they will definitely take chip damage on this tower, or both. Right? The other problem that they have is that this guy is about to have teleport. Wonder can also collapse from this side. And so, there's a real risk that Damwon can get collapsed on. So, the problem, well, the advantage of committing 5 is you guarantee priority and you get to move into the space first. But the problem with it is you also lose much more control over the rest of the map, which G2 is much better at punishing with. So now, let's have a look at see what happens to Damwon. So for, you see here, oh, this is, okay, so this is super interesting. So, what's interesting about this, and what's interesting about what G2 do, is they could have collapsed, right? They could have. But this is where watching G2 as a League of Legends fan makes me happy, because I'm going to try and give a lesson. So, fighting, right, is pointless. Okay? Remember this. Because the thing about fighting, right, is it is a means to an end. So, all you ever really want to do is play for objectives. And the only reason why you should fight is if you're strong enough to be able to contest, and it's an objective that you really want, or you're in a position where there's nothing really left for you to do, right? So in this situation, G2 could fight because they are strong enough, but why take the gamble? Because what Damwon have decided to do is they've thrown all of their eggs into the dragon basket, whereas G2, they have time on their hands. Because for Damwon, they have to not only take the Drake, which it won't spawn for another 6 seconds, but there's also another 8 seconds of recall on top of this. So that's 14 seconds minimum that G2 get to play with. In 14 seconds, they can take a lot. So because they care much more about objectives, more than they do about fighting, all they do is they keep the Rek'Sai around to threaten a steal. They also have Yanko's Wonder here as well. And then they send their duo up towards the top lane, and they provide the Rise with more tower damage and wave clear. Which means that in this 14 seconds, so now the dragon spawns, right? Now people are recalling. Oh, nope, their recalls have been interrupted. So they kill the dragon, still no one's recalling. And they get 2 towers. And then they get to walk away. Now, obviously, Mickey nearly kills himself. And then Nuclear thinks that he's safe. Like, this was also just a really dumb pick. That should never have happened. But now, I can't tell if the mid tower's gone. No, it's not. But, like, That was just a really smart reactionary play from G2 to recognize that this mountain isn't worth it. Instead, we can gain so much more map control by taking this play. And now you have an exposed inhibitor as well, which is great for your 2 split pushes that outscale, well, maybe not this, but I'm pretty sure Yorick outscales this. That was really smart. And now they have, well, they have numbers because they just found a kill onto Nuclear, and Corki's still catching the wave top. So again, they have more than enough time to be able to take mid tower. Clean League of Legends. It was fucking good, man. That was good shit. Yeah. Nuclear just died. So now Baron becomes a playing card. So of course, this guy still doesn't have Infinity Edge. He's level 11 versus the level 13 of Perks. Also remember that he's spent pretty much all game sitting mid lane with the Corki where he hasn't got any farm. Meanwhile, these two, oh, they're so strong. This guy's a little bit behind, but that's ultimately fine. He's still probably going to be... Actually, I think Jace is way stronger in the 1v1 right now. Kleptomancy's really helped him a lot. So, like, the win condition for Damwon is this guy gets to a point where he's not completely useless, and then they can play split push with this lot. This guy acting primarily as wave clear. Their team fight also isn't weak, but it's going to take them a long time to get there, so they've got to keep stalling. Of course, G2's not going to let that happen, and they're going to start threatening the Baron. So they push in mid. Frelwart, cheeky. Look how fast they do it. But Nuclear spots them, so Damwon is in a position. Yep. Low risk play. They can just disengage if it doesn't look good, which is smart. Oh, we're A-ramming. G2 needs to get back out on the side lanes. Or they're just going to go for a fight. Okay, this is a weird fucking fight. This is one of those fights where, like, this seems super pointless. I mean, I understand why Damwon's here, but I don't understand why G2 is humoring them. I mean, they are stronger and they can win a fight, but I don't know. It seems super useless. They should just be pushing on side lanes. Yanko steals it with a Prey Seeker. Yeah, I am a bit sick. I have a stuffy nose. I have a bit of a cold. Hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully this is the worst of it. We shall see. Okay, so first steps come out of actually clearing the vision. Caps is going to solo the mountain, so they still have 2 mountains, which is quite comfortable. Push out bot, they need to push out top as well. But Ryze is grouped up with the Yorick, so he can't really do that right now. This guarantees Damwon priority over top, because there's no one collapsing from... sorry, priority over mid, because there's no one collapsing from top. And G2 concede all the river control, which is fine. I'm surprised Caps is still staying bot. I wonder why. Like, the dude cancels his base, and he stays bot. They even know he's there. See? He cancels it. I guess they're looking for a pick on side like they did in game 1. They're hoping Nogri overextends, but the dude's like, I've learned my lesson. And because they spotted out the Ryze, Damwon knew that they could force. Oh, okay. Actually, this is quite cool. So they just trade it for the other side of the map. Because Damwon recognized that they can't hold 2v1 bot, so they just get sieged on, and then he loses his flash. That's quite clever. Because you don't lose anything for this, right? The only way Damwon win is if they force Baron. but they're not forcing G2 into an ultimatum here. G2 still have prio over mid because Perks just cleared the wave. Yeah, I think Damwon's just kind of out of position here. And they don't actually threaten the Baron, they just get vision over it. And now G2's the one threatening Baron, which they then convert into a fight. See, fights like this are super fine. And initially I thought this was a really bad fight for G2, because Ryze gets insta-killed, and he doesn't even use his Seraphs. And also, we get to see how useless Yorick is in a fight. Honestly, like, I think that Yorick champion could have been anyone. Would have done the same thing. This didn't really prove to me how Yorick is a counter to Jason anyway. Wonders had like a super useless game, but there we are. Alright, but that was overall well played by G2. They wanted to use the Baron to force a fight, which they then won. So, it's difficult to criticize them. Like, I just think the execution was flawed. That was a pretty good win war. Yeah, Chris Diary goes to the back line. Excuse me. It's pretty good. Alright, so now they want to play through all three lanes. They're doing 2-2-1 right now, which is good. One is going to move between the two. I think he should have stayed top there, though. Now they just need to take their time. No need to rush into anything. As I say that. Guess you could also just kill them all. That also works. What happens here? Oh, Noguri gets locked up in the thing. Then Perks ults in. Wonder. So he gets... Wait, where does he get his health back from? Because he doesn't have... Okay, so that's the heal from Perks initially. And then I guess he gets a heal from Grasp as well. I think. And then they just end. Yeah, there were a couple of moments in this game where G2 fucked up, in my opinion. But watching the first three games, I'm again just reminded of how fucking good Caps is. Like, I understand why Perk said there were many things where he could have played better, and I definitely agree. Like, he overall like had a very solid game, especially in that one, but Caps is the real MVP for me. Like, throughout the whole series, he's been super solid, and his Rise is like crazy good. So props to him. But yeah, I think what we saw in that game was Damwon kind of showcasing that when they're behind, they really don't know what to do. They don't give themselves many options in draft. Their mid game is like non-existent. They just sit back and they farm and they wait. Typically, in the group stages, what they were very good at was punishing mistakes, and against Invictus Gaming and Team Liquid, they made a lot of those, so it was very easy to punish. But against a G2 team, like the mistakes that we've seen them make, Damwon have effectively punished them every time. But then G2 is much better at how they come back out onto the map and how they use resets. It's like their vision control is better, they often draft better early games, and Damwon never play for early game, so I don't know why they didn't, but they didn't. And they also, like, they struggle to play through mid. They always try to play through bot. So if you shut down the bot lane, they can't do anything. So yeah, I think like G2 have got their number at this point, and like the game is pretty much, the series is doing. I knew the moment I saw this game, I was like, yeah, G2 have made enough mistakes that better teams may have been able to punish them more, but nope, not Damwon. Damwon's not good enough. So yeah, there we are. That's game 3. We're jumping into game 4 in just a few. See you over there.